the Swisstech Wurdig with nice micarta scales, a 3-inch coated Aus-8 blade, and insane action. The Civivi Mini Praxis, evergreen status as an EDC powerhouse, a banger in small form factor, both under $30, and both from Walmart? Has Walmart stepped their game up? Let's find out. What's up, Cripple Crew? EDC with DVD, disabled but deadly, with a little bit of a different video today. The homeboy Mud picked up a couple of knives, EDC knives, at Walmart and dropped them off for review. He knew I hadn't checked out the Mini Praxis yet, as much as I like Civivis. And I haven't purchased anything from Swisstech, but I had seen videos lately showing that their game has improved, for sure. So is Walmart getting serious in the knife business? Before we take a look at these, stab that like button like you mean it. /subscribe. I'd love to have you here, and you're not going to want to miss all the dope knife and EDC content coming your way. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at EDC with DBD. Also, drop a comment below. Let me know what's in your pockets. Not only do I like knowing what you guys are carrying, but your interaction with the videos also really helps push this out to other people. All right, enough of that. So, we will start off with the Swisstech Wurdig. We're going to move the Praxis out of the way for the moment. And first, we're going to look at the closed form factor. And we are 4 inches closed in a very slim profile. That knife, or that blade, almost completely disappears into the thin handle. The scales are micarta. I feel like a canvas micarta. Let me see if it's yes, it is canvas micarta. And I have a big fondness for OD green micarta. It was my favorite scale material until I got into Ultim. It's now my second favorite scale material. The pivot, I like how they did the logo on the pivot. It's a very small pivot. Matter of fact, I want to see if that's tooled for okay, it's still a T8, but we are T6 body screws and clip screws. Not surprising at $30. About the only thing sticking out is the minimal flipper, which looks, I mean, it's pretty even with that pivot. Normally you'd like a little higher than the pivot, but I'm going to show you it's unfailable. We've got the aluminum backspacer. The red kind of sets off against that gray and green. And you do have a lanyard spot back there on that backspacer. Our pocket clip is semi-deep carry, giving you that much sticking out of the pocket to grab onto. It is a fold-over clip that it has pretty stiff retention, but it goes in and out of the pocket nicely because it's riding on that micarta. And it is reversible. So lefties can use this knife as well pretty easily. And it is tip up as the gods intended weld and carry. With it closed, we can see that the tip is centered. Yes. Shining off of that red aluminum, it's a little difficult to see, but that tip is centered. Open construction. We have very, very skinny standoff. I think that's the most narrow standoff I've ever seen. This flipper, whether you light switch it or hit it with that push button, it flies out. You okay, pupper? What did you do to yourself? You're a good boy. You're okay. Lay down, buddy. Lay down. You're a good boy. That flipper flies out. It's riding on cage ceramic ball bearings, and the flipper is pretty much unfailable. As soon as it breaks that detent, it's flying out there. I'm trying to. Okay, if I purposely ride it so that I can block it, I can fail it. But that's the only way to fail this. Any pressure on that flipper and it rides out. Now, the thumb disc. I wish it was a little bit further down on the blade, away from the tang. With my thumb, it's not bad. But when I hit it with a reverse flick, I can do it. You know, I'm a ninja. Of course I can do it. But it does feel like if it was just moved slightly down, it would be a little easier for the reverse flick. We are looking at a 3-inch, kind of a clipped spear pointish Aus 8 blade with a gray PVD coating. Aus 8, it's going to be a stainless and decently tough steel. Pretty easy. Woof! If you don't get out of the way, that knife, that blade, this thing is a guillotine for sure. But that Aus 8 blade is it's not going to be the longest edge retention, but it's going to be one that'll be easy to maintain at home. So if you do any of your own sharpening, you'll be able to sharpen Aus 8. Let's look at this plunge grind. It starts back here. Yeah, it's decent. It's okay. And that grind, it's a little thinner right here. Definitely, it's pretty close to an even grind. You've got a little bit of sharpening life. And let's see, stop pin is internal. Hey, that's nice. It's riding on racetracks. You've got an internal stop pin at $30. So you could easily, after sharpening this a couple of times, if you needed to, you could increase that choil so that you're not getting a smile at the back. That's not bad for $30. I wonder if it lists the blade stock thickness on this. It does not. And as you know, my calipers aren't calibrated right now. But let's compare it to the Mad Tonto, which we know is 120 thousandths. So it looks like about 120 thousandths blade stock thickness. Okay. I couldn't tell if it was thinner or not. It does get to a thin, semi-pokey tip. And let's check it on a piece of paper. Check this factory edge real quick. Not bad. You know, it drags slightly. But compared to what Swiss Tech has been known for, and for a $30 Walmart knife, that's not bad at all. So, the homie Mud picked up both of these knives for $65 with tax. I've had this over the weekend, and I like how thin it is when it's riding in the pocket. It's almost like a pin. And the action is awesome. The ergos are pretty neutral. It feels comfortable right here. There's no jimping on top, but that thumb disc gives me a good landing spot for my thumb. And this flipper tab comes back enough that I can easily choke up and I'm not touching that blade. Because the neutral ergos, I can pull it to cut straps. Beef jerky, Avenger, and Defender grips are both comfortable. I'm capped off at the butt. I'm locked in. Plenty of room from that, plenty of space between me and the edge of that blade in case of a little bit of beef jerky juice. And my Carta gets grippier as it gets wet. So in a beef jerky defending situation, it could be used in a pinch. Obviously, fixed blade is the best, but you use what you have. Our lockup is about 40%, and we do have decent access to that jimped liner that makes it very easy to get a hold of. And with that ambidextrous pocket clip, this would be very easy for left-handers too. So verdict, definitely the best Swiss tech I've handled. Now I haven't handled any in a few years, and the difference is night and day. I would rate this definitely a very good option at $39 or at $30. It was $29 and change. Okay, next, the mini Praxis. I'm going to try to speed this up. This is going a little longer than expected. And most of y'all are familiar with the mini Praxis. There's a lot of flavors out there. There's also the full-size Praxis, of course. And of course, you know me, I want both of them in Ultim. And they have a button lock aluminum version that I really want. So, if you're familiar with the mini Praxis, you already know that it's been a budget powerhouse for a while. It comes in under 7 inches at 6.79 inches, but it has enough of a handle to get a full 4-finger grip behind that flipper tab, but it has a very generous finger choil, and it's comfortable on the jimping, or with that dip in the blade, my thumb locks in right there. So you get a very good full purchase on this almost 6.8 inch knife. We're looking at a 2.98 inch blade, so just under 3 inches, so slightly longer than an Elementum blade, which comes in at 2.96. If that gives you an idea. Now you do have a little less cutting edge because of that generous finger choil. The close length on it is 3.81 inches. And we're looking at 2.77 ounces on the weight of this. Did the Swiss Tech list a weight? Because it's very lightweight as well. I'm looking to see if they listed a weight. I need a scale, guys. Faux show. Oh, it looks like they do. 2.8 ounces on that. And it is 120 thousandths. I was right on the blade stock thickness. And they say it's a titanium nitride coating, not a PVD. So it is 2.8 ounces on that Swiss Tech, or 2.77 on the mini Praxis. So both I would definitely consider lightweight at under 3 ounces. Now, where the mini Praxis really shines is in this blade. You're looking at 100 thousandths blade stock thickness, or 2.5 millimeters. And because you've got a decently tall blade at 1.27 inches on the width there, you've got a nice height on that flat grind. It comes down to a very thin and slicey edge. This guy from the factory, I can make little confettis if I want to, or I can slice all the way through. I can do either confettis or slices. It's definitely very, whoop, that was me folding the paper. Very slicey from the factory. And this one, you're looking at a drop point blade of D2. And D2, one of the nice things about it, it's in the budget realm. It's one of the best steels as far as edge retention. It's a decently tough steel. It's not considered stainless at 12 to 13% chromium. It's considered semi-stainless, but this black wash blade is not only going to help keep this blade looking really good, but it's going to help with any extra corrosion resistance. I haven't had any of my coated D2. I have good luck with D2 here, but my non-coated D2 has always got knife shield on it. But I've never had any issues with my coated D2. And I have some from Civivi, some from other companies. So, especially under $30, D2 is the best steel you're going to find for edge retention. So this is going to hold its edge a nice while, and you're going to be able to maintain it at home. It's pretty easy to sharpen up. So closed, again, we're looking at a very slim profile. And so at less than 3 ounces, this can be carried in your shorts, in your sweats, and anything that a full size or a heavier pocket knife would weigh down. You can carry either of these knives. We are perfectly centered as expected from Civivi. Nice show side with the logo on the pivot. And ooh, those are T8 body screws. So we're T8 on our body screws and pivot, captured pivot, and the only T6s are on the pocket clip. I'm pretty good with that, especially under $30. The pocket clip is nice and deep carry. Standard Civivi bent steel pocket clip, so you know it goes in and out of the pocket very well. And it is inset into the scale with flush inset screws. So though there's no screws in the way, this goes in and out of the pocket very well. Peel ply G10 scales over steel liners, and in this case the steel liners are skeletonized, which is partially that, and the very thin blade stock help bring this weight down. Whoop! Guillotine. Felt a little bite. We'll see if, gotta pause real quick. And we're back. Good thing we keep the band-aids right next to the desk. Now, that's my fault. There should be plenty of room to hit either that tab or that choil. There is. And then shake it down. I was just too low on the lock bar and it allowed it to drop. But that shows you how sharp, how much of a bite that edge has. Yeah, if you don't let that tab stop on you, that flipper tab, and then shake it down, you need to watch it because it will close on your thumb. The ergos on this are great. This is, like I said, this is the first time I have handled the mini Praxis, and comparing it to my Elementum 2, as you can see, very similar. The Elementum is slightly longer, very similar in length. I like the ergos, even though they're not neutral, they do lock you into a certain grip. I really like the ergos on this better than the Elementum. The Elementum has the hollow grind versus the flat grind on this. And I prefer button lock action. But the nice thing about the liner lock on this is that it allows it to keep it thinner than the Elementum 2. So there's your comparison to the Elementum 2. We'll give you another size comparison. How about the CJRB Bowie Pyrite, which is going to be slightly longer. We'll go pivot to pivot there. A little more handle and a little more blade. And one more. How about a Kubi Titius, which is a full-size knife and comes in quite a bit larger. There's a couple of size comparisons for you. Now, to compare it with the Wurdig, which is a 7-inch knife, so slightly longer. So, my verdict, we'll check the grips on this. Even though it's not neutral, I can still lock it in for some strap cutting. Beef Jerky Avenger. It's a little short, but I can lock in, and I got room between me and that blade. Defender is a little easier because of that pocket clip locking inside of my fingers. So, definitely doable. We're about 50% on the lockup with not much cutaway, but that lock bar sticks up a little bit and it is jimped, so it's pretty easy to grab. This is also riding on caged bearings. And as you saw, it will drop on my thumb if I allow it to. Pretty smooth. A little bit of a shakedown. So compared to the straight up guillotine action on this. Overall, if I was going to pick one over the other, I would say get the mini Praxis. I like coated D2 better than OS8 just because it's going to hold its edge quite a bit better. And it's a little bit cooler of a knife. But my actual verdict, if you could pick both of these up for $65 with tax, that's a pretty good deal. Very minimal billboarding, minus the Swiss Tech on the pocket clip, which you know I am not a fan of. And the best type of advertising, just the pivot. That looks fantastic. D2, very minimal on the blade. Oh, with that generous finger choil, you definitely have a good sharpening choil. Sharpening life for days. And a very even grind on that blade from the factory. So, my verdict, I would say grab both. I will be picking up a Civivi for sure, or a mini Praxis. I do want the Ultim version, and I now want a full-size Praxis as well. But this knife surprised me, and I do like it more than I thought I would. Especially if you're into the thin profile knives, the CEO style profile of knives. It's got a taller grind than most, so a decently slicey edge, and awesome action, and it's pretty comfortable in the hand. I can recommend this off of my first impressions in one weekend, more than I expected to. So, this has been fun. And yes, Walmart has stepped their knife game up. You can find 4 different models at Walmart of Civivi, the Mini Praxis, the Brazen, the Elementum, and the Quivit. Plus, Swiss Tech is putting out, this isn't the only, they've got a couple of nice fixed blades, and they have some more folders that now I would be interested in checking out after checking this one out. I like it more than I expected to. I appreciate Mud dropping these off for me to check out. I hope everybody has a killer week, and I'm thinking about everybody not only that was hit by Helene, but that is in the path of this upcoming hurricane. My thoughts are with you. Stay safe, stay frosty, stay deadly.